Last night, after midnight, I couldn't sleep, and so I got up and wrote a book, inspired by the Wonky Donkey. My book is entitled The Hurricane Henderson Family. A family lived in Florence, South Carolina. So they were the Florence Henderson family, no kin to the actress Florence Henderson. It so happened there was a hurricane by the same name as their town, and it was swirling and coming their way. Now they were the Hurricane Florence Henderson family. Prepped and ready for the storm, Doug said, "Batten down the hatches," whatever that means. They did, and in so doing, they were now the hunkering Hurricane Florence Henderson family. As the winds howled, the family worked up an appetite. Imagine that. So they battened down the hatches and grew hungry. Now they were the hunkering Hurricane Florence Henderson family. I read well for my age, don't I? So they snacked on all those prepped meals and carbs until they were stuffed. They battened down the hatches, grew hungry, stuffed themselves with carbs, and soon they were the bloating, hunkering Hurricane Florence Henderson family. Kathy was bored. So they played games, and every time anybody won, they bragged and boasted. So they battened down the hatches, grew hungry, ate carbs, and bragged as they played games, and became the gloating, bloating, hunkering Hurricane Florence Henderson family. They decided they needed to move around and get some exercise, so they began to. The family had battened down the hatches, grew hungry, ate carbs, bragged as they played games, and then exercised. That made them the physically fit, gloating, bloating, hunkering Hurricane Florence Henderson family. Suddenly the lights flickered and they lost power to the house. So they lit candles. The family battened down the hatches and grew hungry, ate carbs, bragged as they played games, exercised, thus becoming the candlelit, physically fit, gloating, bloating, hunkering Hurricane Florence Henderson family. This is the last page. To conserve water, they decided to stop taking showers. Without air conditioning, they soon became smelly. The family had battened down the hatches, grew hungry, ate carbs, bragged as they played games, exercised, and stopped taking showers. Now they were the rank and stank, candlelit, physically fit, gloating, bloating, hunkering Hurricane Florence Henderson family. In the darkness, one of them, who shall remain nameless, tripped, stubbed a toe, then in pain, cut wind. The family had battened down the hatches, grew hungry, ate carbs, bragged as they played games, exercised, stopped taking showers, tripped and cut wind, and became the smarting, farting, rank and stank, physically fit, candlelit, gloating, bloating, hunkering Hurricane Florence Henderson family. Still no kin to the actress Florence Henderson. It was a dark and stormy night. Cliches are forbidden in good story writing. This is not a cliche, it's a weather report. It was a dark and stormy night. But when the darkness gave way to the morning light and the storm ceased to roar, they discovered that as the smarting, farting, rank and stank, physically fit, candlelit, gloating, bloating, hunkering Hurricane Florence Henderson family, they lived happily and wearily ever after. The end.